Hello, my paper peeps. Today I want to share with you how to junk journal this year. Junk journaling is a way to express yourself creatively, to preserve memories, and to recycle, upcycle, and repurpose materials. Whether you're new to the concept or a seasoned crafter, starting a junk journal this year can be an enriching experience. Here's a guide on how to embark on this artistic journey. What is a junk journal? A junk journal is a handmade book created from a variety of found and recycled materials. These can include old book pages, scrap paper, magazine clippings, fabric scraps, and more. The idea is to repurpose these materials into a personalized journal for art, writing, or memory keeping. Now that's a junk journal in the traditional sense. I find these days we're actually thinking outside the box and moving beyond just repurposed materials. We're actually adding old with the new, repurposed with the upcycled, and just really expanding our creativity to include all elements and all materials. For example, this journal here is made up of fun, downloadable printables in the form of postcards, but is embellished with, for example, old earrings, garland wire from past DIY projects, paper clips from restaurant receipts, and old scrapbook elements from my days of scrapbooking. All these journal elements are then bound together, not in your traditional bookbinding systems, but in this case, a repurposed recipe box. Now here's a junk journal made from an old cereal box. And it's covered with old wrapping paper. It's adorned with a bejeweled brooch that was no longer being worn. It has old notepaper in it, brown paper bags from the grocery store. It even has Amazon boxes from past orders and recycled envelopes from the dreaded bills that come every month. But let's not dwell on the past. I find adding new elements will give your junk journals a specific vibe, an aesthetic that is all its own and can be differentiated from the rest of your projects. Here, this paper line is made into 4 signatures bound together with thread into this cereal box cover. It has great tags that were specifically made to be embellished with these 3D pumpkins. So here's another example of mixing the old with the new. Now to start your junk journal, here are all the materials you'll need to gather. Number 1, base material. An old book, a notebook, or loose paper to form the pages. Adhesives, glue sticks, double-sided tape, or a glue gun. And sometimes I'll use Recollections permanent roller tape. And what I love is using repositional roller tape as well, because the repositional stuff allows you to place elements within your scrapbooks and journals temporarily. So when you do get to that page later on, if you need to move it, you can. Then you have your cutting tools, scissors, craft knives, paper trimmers. If you're into washi tape, these really slimline trimmers are perfect for trimming washi tape. Binding tools, a needle and thread, stapler, or even bookbinding tape will help you create those amazing memories. You'll want some decorative elements, ephemera, which I love, whether they come in the form of stickers or laser cut elements from scrapbook companies, stamps, washi tape, and other embellishments like old earrings, paper clips, tabs and tag that come with your scrapbook paper lines or digital paper lines, pop dots, mini prills, and other mixed media elements that are just endless, and you could pretty much use as much as you want in your scrapbooks and journals. Then you have writing tools. Make sure you have an assortment of pens. I myself love to color coordinate my pens with my journals. Markers, pencils for journaling or doodling. And if you don't know me, I am the wax seal girl. I love adding wax seals, not just to my card envelopes, but to my scrapbooks, my journals. I use them as embellishments inside as well as outside of my junk journals. And speaking of three-dimensional elements, I love polymer clay creations. Oh my goodness. That has been a game changer for me in the last year or so. I have added polymer clay pumpkins to my journals. I've added coffee beans to my journals. I have added leaves and flowers, you name it. It just adds so much texture and life and interest to your junk journal. Here are the steps to creating the junk journal. Number one, choose your journal base. Select a sturdy base for your journal. Like I said, an old hardcover book, a spiral-bound notebook, or even a collection of loose pages can serve as your foundation. Ensure the base is durable enough to withstand the additions of paper and decorations. Now this is my Christmas junk journal. I actually went to my local used bookstore and picked this up. So instead of adding pages, I actually subtracted pages so that I could add cards, photos of my friends' kids in there. I get them every year. My friends love to give me photos of their kids, like the school photos that we get. I actually have places where you can put quotes, or even these are frames for photos over the holidays, places for journaling. I haven't completed it yet. Here's like some pockets here, again, for cards. I even have, let's see here. And here are more pockets here as well. And then you have like this Dutch door effect. Someone told me about that the other day. They're like, Chris, it's called a Dutch door. I'm like, okay, gotcha. I'm really bad with that. I just like do stuff and I'm like, whatever that is, I call it my flip page. Anyways, but oops. But it's not completed yet. I have a lot of work to do in this one, but this is just an example of, of a junk journal that you can store all the holiday paraphernalia in, or like even, those photo cards you get from friends. I have a ton of those, and I get those every year. And eventually what I'll do is I'll put, you see there's tabs up here, but there'll be tabs up here that I think I could probably, this junk journal was designed for maybe 5 years of stuff. So yeah, I think maybe 5 years will be cataloged in this junk journal. Now this is my blush collection. I loved the idea of the recipe box as a base and did it here again. Or if you're feeling adventurous, you can create your own journal base from a cereal box like I did in this journal. And this is my Pumpkin Patch Chronicles junk journal. Oh my gosh, it's massive. It's huge. Look, it's the size of like the width of my hand. It's massive, but it has so many fun things in it. And this is made from a cereal box covered with decorative paper or wrapping paper. And if you're a seasoned crafter, making a base from scratch might pique your interest. This one is my Java journal. I'll put a link to how I created this binding system in the description box below. It actually allows you to remove pages and add pages as you go. I used the same technique here in my Botanicals book. A base like this allows you to add art pages that covers up those spines once you've completed the book. In the Java paper line, there are these really cute spine inserts, should you decide you don't want to cover up the spines at all. Now, this is an example of repurposing old books. This is an old planner that I used as a scrapbook junk journal. Instead of adding paper, I used daytimer paper to catalog the events of the year. I added photos that corresponded to those events, and voila, a mini scrapbook journal. If you're interested in any of the projects that I've just shown you, I'll put a link to all those paper lines in the description box below. And I'll also put a playlist to several of these projects at the end of this video, should you decide you want to embark on that journey. Now, the second thing you want to do is gather materials. I gather materials based on texture, based on a theme of the project, based on the color of the project. That's where I'll just go through all of my stuff even my repurposed stuff and stuff that I've been storing away, and I'll just pull anything out that has the same theme or has the same color theme as my project. I really love to think creatively. So when I'm out and about on my travels, I'm looking at magazine clippings, old greeting cards, fabric scraps, even the packaging from your makeup boxes can be artwork in itself. Here I created a mini scrapbook from a makeup box. I added cardstock, frames. I chose one sticker package. I love these ones from Hobby Lobby, by the way. And I embellished this mini book and gave it away as a gift. My daughter really loves them because we can make them in like a couple of hours. Her and I can craft together, and she'll be like, Mom, I want to give this away as a little mini gift to my friend. And what she'll do is she'll embellish it all, and she'll even add the photos inside this mini junk journal and give it away with a gift card to like their favorite store. And not only do they have like, you know, a little gift of memories, but you know, they have a gift card in there as well that they can use to go on a shopping spree with. Now, here's an example of me using packaging from my stamps and using mixed media on there to create a tag. I love gathering items with the same color scheme like staples, ribbons, paper clips, mini prills, pop dots, old jewelry, and other embellishments that really make your junk journal what it is. And it's a conglomeration of junk, but beautiful junk and stuff that, you know, you just can't throw away. So just always think broader, and you'll be amazed at when you're out and about, even at a restaurant, you're looking at the menu and going, can I take this? I've done that so many times. I'm like, ooh, I like the artwork on here. Can I? And you know what? I do it all the time. I'll actually go to a restaurant, and if I look at the binding system on that menu, I have no qualms, no shame about asking the waiter or the waitress, may I have this? And 90% of the time they were like, sure. They give me that look of why, but you know, they're like, sure, go ahead. I'll tell them I'm a scrapbooker and I want to catalog my memories from my trips or whatever it is. And most often than not, they'll be like, sure, go ahead and take it. We'll print more, or they kind of shoo me off and go, here, just don't tell anybody, especially if it's a really nice menu. So excited. Number 3, prepare your pages. Now, this is where you decide on the size and shape of your pages. Now, you can trim them to uniform size or embrace that eclectic kind of mismatched look. And if necessary, you reinforce the delicate pages with either cardstock or heavier paper. Here in this journal, where I used mismatched paper, I bound them with thread and staples, and then reinforced parts of the paper with double-sided adhesive, which was then sprinkled with glitter. Now, this junk journal is actually made from a notebook. Instead of adding paper, I actually removed paper to accommodate stenciling, stamping, to be able to add mixed media, which adds a lot of bulk, and then 3D embellishing. And this book was actually created over COVID, so I had a lot of time to just reflect. So you'll see there's just lots of journaling through this book. Now here's another example of this, and this is one of my Botanicals books. Number 4, this is where you bind your journal. Now, if you're using loose pages, you'll want to find a binding system that goes well with these pages. You can sew them together using a simple pamphlet stitch, staple them, or use book binding tape. Now, in this example, I used folded cardstock to bind the signatures together. Again, if you're interested in this accordion type of bookbinding, I'll have a video at the end of this video. Number 5, now this is where you decorate your junk journal. This is the fun part. What you want to do is start adding your collected materials to the pages. You layer papers, attach photos, and embellish with stickers or stamps. You can use washi tape or fabric to add texture and color. Honestly, there is no wrong or right way to embellish. Like, it is your creative journey. Please don't let anyone tell you out there like, oh, that doesn't work or that's wrong. Like, there is nothing wrong. And that's why it's such a great hobby and a great way to decompress after the day, because you know what? There's no one telling you you should do this or you should do that. So please don't let anyone say to you that your design or whatever you're creating is wrong. It's your own creative expression. So I just want to share that with you, because I know even just being on YouTube, it can be ugly. People tell you that you're doing something wrong or this isn't appropriate or that's not right. And honestly, it's your book. It's something that you will look back on. And so I just encourage you to be your own creative genius and just explore that creative side of you. And I mean, what I'm doing here is I'm just sharing what I do, and in hopes that maybe you'll get some inspiration from my projects. So please, like, just feel free to just let loose when it comes to creating. Now, for my journals, I will typically set the tone of my junk journal by doing an initial, what I call a craft blast, which is a day where I stamp, stencil, and I actually create 4 to 5 layout pages that I repeat several times throughout the junk journal. And the reason why I do this is I'm trying to create this cohesiveness and this consistency that makes the journal flow. Then throughout my journaling journey, I'll create large art pages like this here, or this here, or even this here. And then I'll add tags, I'll add tabs, I'll even leave areas in my journal pages for places to embellish. I really love to journal. And so during the week, if I don't have a lot of time to create these large layouts of art pages, what I'll typically do is on my actual journal pages, I always leave a section. It's usually the bottom right corner of the journal pages where I'll flex my creative muscle by adding washi tape or some elements of creativity so that I feel like I've actually done something creative that week or during my week. Number 6, add personal touches. When I think of that, I think, well, isn't the whole book a personal touch? But when they talk about adding personal touches, if you are just into art junk journaling and you're not really journaling at all, then a personal touch would be maybe a little quote page or a sketch, or maybe like a ticket stub from the last theater that you went to. Now, adding these personal touches really creates this memorabilia that is truly your own. Number 7. Now this is where you use and enjoy your junk journal. I can't stress it enough. Junk journaling throughout the week, throughout the season, can just be a way for you to decompress. It's actually been proven that journaling has kind of brought people peace, and that type of reflection does amazing things to your body. It really calms you down, and it just allows you just to pull away from the rest of the world, from the busyness of the world, and just connect with yourself, with your creator, or even just with your thoughts. Now, you wonder what people use their junk journals for, and you can use it for anything. You can use it as a diary, as an art book, as a scrapbook. You can use it as a notebook even for like your book studies. The possibilities are endless. Or you can just create it and then give it away as a gift. Now, the tips for successful junk journaling are these. Number 1, you got to stay organized, or else you just won't want to craft. If your desk, if your junk journaling table is just a mess, sometimes like clutter is not good. I mean, some people can work around clutter, but myself, I just find I'm not very productive around clutter. So what I will typically do is I actually like cutting up all my ephemera and placing everything in a little box on my table, and then craft from there. And so, I just have my stapler and all the little mini things that I have collected, and I just keep that there. And that allows me to craft freely without a lot of fuss. Like, you're not constantly pulling stuff out. Like, you're just limiting yourself to the materials that are in that little box, and then you can just focus on what you think is important to your junk journaling. Embrace imperfection. I love creating. I make a ton of mistakes. I love to try different mediums, try different techniques, and do they work all the time? Absolutely not. Sometimes I make an absolute mess. And you know, the beauty behind junk journaling is because there isn't a real system in there, you can actually like cover your mistakes up. Honestly, enjoy the imperfection. Let go of the perfection and just, you know, let your creativity flow, and you will see things end up falling into place. And then regularly update it, which means make sure you set aside time every week to just journal in it, to add to it. And then set a time where you say, you know what, I'm going to complete this journal. And there's a time limit to it so that I can start a new one. Because if you don't set a time limit to it, that journal can sit forever and maybe not be used or completed. And that's what I like to do. Now, some people, you know, they can use a journal for years, the same journal, and that's okay. For me, I'm more of a season person. I like a new journal every season. So, but that's just me. I really hope you enjoyed this video on how to junk journal this year. And I hope that you've gained some insight, that you've gained some tips and tricks on how to create these amazing junk journals that you will look back on for years to come. Until I see you in my other videos, take care, happy crafting, happy junk journaling, happy scrapbooking, whatever it is you do, and we'll see you in those other videos. Bye.